Welcome. Yeah, I'm dropping the red tonight. Doesn't matter what color I'm wearing, whether it's for Republicans or Democrats. I just think the color red looks nice this evening. It matches my shoes, you know. Mad love to my guy again. Welcome to the election, man. It might be a long night, you know. It all depends on how I'm feeling. I've got my cup right here. Lacrosse. Those who know. Make sure it stays warm. What a day, man. Bitcoin does the usual XRP formation, goes up and then comes back down again into the same bloody range. Not bad, but NASDAQ. Listen, I hold all of the guys in the Platinum Members Discord, right? I hold you all responsible for me trading today. I said I wasn't going to trade. I said it. I said it in my Instagram. I said it on my Twitter as well, on my X, okay? I said no trading for me. But the guys in there were just running some game. They were talking like, Bitcoin's going to do this, NASDAQ's coming at the VWAP and all of this stuff. And I was like, oh my God, stop it. You're tempting me. Someone even called me autistic, saying that I'm like messy, where if I'm not trading, what am I going to be doing? And I don't know if that's a compliment or an insult, but nonetheless, we did trade. I mean, I traded the last election when Trump was rallying for it all, so why not this time? So, yeah, you guys, it's your fault. You got me going. So we'll talk about that very shortly. We had a nice day today. A decent day, I'd say. We just managed to capture that flavor. I actually traded the S&P on the futures markets, and I traded the NASDAQ. Sorry, yeah, traded the S&P on the futures, and then I traded the NASDAQ on contracts for difference on another platform. I can use different lot sizes, put a little bit more size, I've got more flexibility. So, yeah, we're doing a couple of challenges again. Got 5K on 2 accounts. We've done all right on one of the accounts and doubled up on the other, but I'll show you all of that anyways, guys. Mad love and respect. I always hear you say pay yourself. Yes. So what's the flavor this evening, ladies and gentlemen? Before we get it all started, the idea is, yes, the old Lacoste times. Yes, I have every single color that Lacoste can provide. Every color they have, I've got the shirt for it. I just don't wear them anymore, you know, but it's nice, bright colors. We've got an election, so I thought we'd go with one of the colors. Now, some of you might be like, no. But what's your view on it all? You think Trump's going to win? You think Harris is going to win? I mean, apparently the markets are betting on the idea that it doesn't matter who wins. The market is still going to rally because we have a very important day going into Thursday, which is the FOMC. I wonder what's going to happen over there. Word on the street is that they're going to be cutting the interest rates. 4.75% is where we're going to be landing. They're going to give us some scope on what's going to be happening going into the next meeting in December. Will we get another rate cut? And will that encourage investors to start pulling yields out of the dollar because the dollar's yield return is starting to go down? So it's going to be an interesting one. But tonight in the Asian session, it's going to be wild. It really is. Okay. I think what's going to happen is because we don't have the full count straight away, I think it's going to be around, it could actually roll on into tomorrow. Who knows? But it all depends. I know you've heard about this Russian attack we spoke about earlier on, that American intelligence was suggesting that Russia's going to compromise Harris's campaign as such. And then we have these potential bombs in the ballots in Atlanta. So do you know what? Let me ask you all. With everybody's reaction to who is voting for who, you see it all on X. People are attacking people for voting for Trump. They're pulling down signs and everything like that. Do you think when I say we, I mean, do you think the US could actually go into some form of riot depending on who wins? Let's ask the question now. How many of you think that that could be the case? It's going to be an interesting one. It really is going to be interesting. But tonight, guys, I am not bearish. Shush, Paddy, stop that. This is red for Trump. It goes with the kicks, man. I got the blue watch. So I'm meeting you guys halfway. Anyway, what we're going to do tonight, what we're going to do, guys, is supposedly that the results are going to start being rolled out around 11 p.m. UK time, which is roughly around 6 p.m. Eastern Standard. Now, 270 votes are required to win. And we're going to be watching a few counters. We're going to be keeping an eye on price action just to see when that flavor is going to kick off. The NASDAQ and the S&P will not be reacting right away, and they are closed right now. So we're going to be waiting to see if that's going to be kicking off at the open of the futures. If you are going to be trading it, just do not trade the first 5 minutes of the futures markets open. It might be a bit chaotic, but there's not really any news for the markets to react to because they'll just start the counting and then they're going to be checking it all out. Now, if anybody remembers back in the day, because everyone's been watching these polymarket bets, okay? Ooh, the CEO of the polymarkets, where everyone's placing bets on who's going to win or who's not going to win. You know, the CEO is a massive Tim Waltz supporter. Like, you look at that, man. Even back in the day when Hillary was trying to run for office, all right? On the, I think it was on the last day before the actual results, she was tipped to win at 82%, all right? Now, some of you, if you are betting on the idea of who's going to win, be very careful, okay? Because the guys trading those markets, it's going to be frantic. There's going to be lots of spikes. 1 minute, you're going to see Trump winning. Next minute, you could see Harris winning. And it's people reacting to the results of the ballots. So just take your time if you're going to be trading those marketplaces. Now, with that being said, guys, what we're going to do is we're going to get into it all. We're going to pull up some charts. We're going to see what's going on across the board. Mad love and respect to anyone passing through. So let's get with this program. Bitcoin, you dead asset. Look at what you're doing. Just for the nature of demonstration, we're going to just have a look at this nut job over here. How's XRP? Oh, anyways, it was exactly the same thing when I looked at it last week, so I'm not even going to bother with it. Anyways, so Bitcoin, what did it do today? Well, it did clear the psychological range, and you know what? It stayed inside of this range, and this is very important because if Bitcoin is staying in here, I mean, they come back into the vector candle recovery point, happy days, and they look at that, man. They just tapped that zone and then did the old nice little reversal to the downside. So let's just have a look at assets across the board. The euro, oh my days, euro's pumped up. That's not good news. You don't want euro pumping and you don't want the yen. You don't want the yen pumping. You need the bonds to be moving. Okay, the bonds have pumped up a little bit as well. That's not good news for me. Don't want the bonds pumping and the yen and the euro to pump. The dollar is down 0.5%. That is very, very bad news for us, guys. The NASDAQ may have been moving up, but it might not see success if it doesn't like what happens with the results. But we did exploit this flavor to the upside, so let's just bring it out over here. So obviously, I trade on another computer, and this is what I do. I trade on the depth of market. This is the NASDAQ over here, and this is the Dow Jones in the middle, and then we've got the S&P. Now, hopefully, if you guys are doing all of this stuff, something that will actually make sense when you start using the depth of market. The NASDAQ and the S&P and the Dow. NASDAQ will always move fast. It's the fastest moving asset out of the three, okay? The Dow also moves relatively fast, but not really as fast as the NASDAQ, and more importantly, the S&P would be deemed a slower asset. Sometimes what you will find is one will be leading, the other will be lagging. Now, what you've got to look for is this. I was trading the S&P today, and we managed to clear $5,145 on the S&P. At the same time, I was not scalping, but I was trading the NASDAQ. And today we took around 17 trades on the NASDAQ on our personal account. These are two personal accounts. We started with 5K on one of them. And here we go. So we started with 5K. Now we're at 10. So we've doubled our balance. And then we started on 5K with this account right here. This is a live account. Whoa, what are you doing, Tino? Just go back a second. There you go. We started with 5K on this account. This is a live hedging account with IC Markets. And we're now at 21,269. So we pretty much 4x our account. And these were my trades right here. And the day ended with $4,801. So we're just shy of 10 grand for the day trading the election. Happy days. And I did pretty well. And yesterday when I said that my win rate was really bad, I actually got the math wrong. It was actually a 58% win rate, not a 41% win rate. So mad love to my guy who clocked that. But you can see, just if you want to check out the entries, check out the entries, take a screenshot, do what you need to do, and look at where I'm entering and then look at where I'm exiting. I'm using 30 lot sizes, and you can see over here, I'm going for quick scalps, drop to the downside, couple of losses right there. And then this one right here kind of cheesed me off, because what had happened was we did see the move to the upside. And what I like to do is I like to trade when NASDAQ breaks out of a range. When it breaks out of a range, that's when I'm looking at closing the position, because NASDAQ always likes to come back. Now, had I kept the trade open, NASDAQ would have gone and swept to the move to the upside. But you know what? You never know that's going to be the case. And now at that point, the move was around 2.5K, which netted us around nearly $4,000, nearly $5,000 for the day. Okay, so I'm happy with that. I'm not greedy when it comes to trading. If I can hit 10K, 15K days, I'm laughing. Okay, that's happy days for me, and I'm not really spending that much time in the trades either. Okay, so that was a really good day for me, especially with trading the S&P and the NASDAQ. But the reason why I was trading, and what you want to be mindful of in terms of the leading and the laggard ones, is this. S&P was effectively lagging behind the NASDAQ. So I started loading up on the S&P. So when liquidity is coming into the NASDAQ, it's naturally going to start coming into the S&P. And that led the NASDAQ and the S&P, or should I say the S&P, to climb up, which allowed me to make a net gain of 5K. Now, sometimes when the S&P is moving and the NASDAQ isn't, I'm going into NASDAQ, getting ready to load up, because I know that the NASDAQ's going to pump because the S&P is leading. Today, we were seeing the Dow Jones was hitting its highs continuously, yet the S&P wasn't quite there yet. So that's what gave me another conviction to go long on the S&P, all right? But now that I've done all of that trading today, I'm not going to be touching any trading this evening. I don't want to trade this evening because it's going into Asia, and Asia can be a bit of a pain in the backside. But if we do see the volatility, we're going to take advantage of it, ladies and gentlemen. Now, going into it all, here we go. So, Sky News, they're televising it, all right? The final hours of voting. These guys are just going to be talking, running their mouths, not really interested in what they have to say. Did you hear about what happened with this one right here? Apparently, she was meant to be on the phone to a voter and then turned the phone around and it showed the camera. How many of you have done that, right? Where you pull your phone out. You don't want to be in a certain situation, okay? And you're like, I'm just going to pull my phone out. And you're like, yeah, the phone's not even ringing. Hello? Yes. Okay. Yeah. And then you do something stupid and then you just make your phone visible. And it's so obvious that you're not on the phone. You can't even say about the thing at the top over here. I do it all the time, man. Like, if I'm in a spot that I don't really want to be in, I'm just pulling the phone to my ear like that. And then they'll say to me, who are you talking to? I'm like, I'm on hold. Okay, shh. And I'm out. So that's what I like to do. Now, any questions, ladies and gentlemen? How many of you traded today is the most important question. Now, what's going on my X right here? Yeah, what was it? Some of you guys come out with some funny stuff. Yeah, that was my post earlier on. And this was me talking about the dollar and the yen and the dollar principle itself, XRP. I don't talk XRP on my X. Don't. I'm not interested in it anymore, guys. Nothing else. Let's just have a look at what's going on with Bitcoin liquidation. So a lot of people have got liquidated as of late. Not too much, but it's not really kicking, man. What are you doing up there? Yes, all of you XRP traders, get liquidated. Shame on you for trading it. So going over to Bitcoin, right, we're not really going to see that much activity until around 11 o'clock when the futures markets actually open up. But here's the depth of market with Bitcoin and looking at the range that we've got here. So the day's range, it's been in a trading range by the principle of the depth of market, or the TPO. And what do I mean by that? Well, if you just look at the NASDAQ right here, look at this. You can see that the TPO, if I just change this back to the original TPO settings, there you go. So we've had ourselves, in principle, a trading range, which means that the volume profile itself, or the TPO, you can see it's a trend. There's been a movement upwards, okay? And this usually leads to people getting a short squeeze coming into play. And the day has been great for the NASDAQ. It's absolutely been awesome in terms of movement, to say the least. But as we go into the actual election results, if we just go over to the 30-minute time frame and look at NASDAQ, this area right here, as you can see, this whole zone, It's building, okay? And it's done very well to hold, which would then lead us to believe that there's a possibility that NASDAQ could actually start climbing up even more going into Asia this evening. Now, remember, we've got the FOMC coming out, and they're going to tell us if the rate cut that we're getting at 25 basis points is going to lead us to another rate cut in December. Now, it's all going to be based on how Trump or whoever wins. That's my logic of it all, guys. And if Trump does actually win, then that could be the markets are going to pump, man. All right. And a lot of people that have not been as again, I want Trump to win purely from the perspective of the markets, because that's going to tell me exactly what the story is with the dollar and how his policies are going to impact the dollar. Remember, he's going to try and bring money back into the dollar. That means the yen's going to be going down. People are going to be putting the carry trade principle to work, and then assets in principle should be appreciating, which means that the S&P or the NASDAQ, let's go with the S&P. The S&P in essence is going to then spike up, hit 6,100 according to JP Morgan's Mr. Wilson. He thinks that there's going to be a blow off top at 6,100 on the S&P. A lot of ratings companies are now changing their estimates on certain stocks and pricing them higher, which is going to be then consistent with a climatic top to the upside. New president comes into play, new policies, readjustments, interest rates cuts, crash. That's what we're looking for. The volatility index in principle, if we just go and have a look at that, and the volatility index tells us where are investors' heads in terms of the options markets. Actually, you know what? I do need to actually pull that up. Where are the options calls? Damn. Where are my options? Oh my God. What is my options thing? I've forgotten it. I've got it up. But anyways, never mind. This is the volatility index. Right now, a lot of players are feeling like everything's all good. Okay. They're not as concerned. When the volatility index is going down below 20, a lot of investors are like, we got to sit on the sidelines. You don't buy yet. That's the thing. You don't buy when it's down below at 20. You buy when it's at 30 or above, okay? Because the market needs to correct. So by the logic of the actual volatility index itself, we've been expecting them to try and mark this down. They're giving us the markdown. They come back into these vector candle regions right here, 16. That would be a point where you should really look to start shorting the markets, because I am waiting for a market crash. I will stand up and admit to it. I'm looking for a crash, only by the principle of market cycles, expansion and contraction. Those of you that have been playing the stock market from day one will understand that the markets need to expand and they also need to contract. And we got to keep that in our minds, guys. That's something that we need to pay very close attention to. Quickly going over and having a look at how the markets are giving investors news. So yeah, a lot of tech stocks are making the moves to the upside. And you know what? With the tech market itself, if we just pull this up here and have a look at where we finished for the day in terms of volume, if we don't actually have the strong volume, then it's going to be a little bit of a problem for us. Just go over to the NASDAQ over here and look at the daily volume. Here we go. So that's awesome, right? Oh, what was that? Who called me then? Okay. So the volume has been very, very good. Volume above average on the NASDAQ right there. And prices closed relatively at the highest point for the NASDAQ composite. Going over into the S&P itself to see how that's favored. Well, not so much volume right there. That's a bit of a problem for me. It's not volume above average if you look at the bottom right. And then we go over to the Dow Jones. Where did Dow Jones fare? Yeah, Dow Jones also fared at the low. So this little bounce from here could be the rally that we need when we get FOMC. They're cutting the interest rates. Money is now cheaper. Investors are going to take money out of dollars and put them into other risk-on assets. The bonds will still continue to go to the downside. And then you have yourselves your nice rally to the upside. Bitcoin goes and claims its all-time high when it decides to come back to work, and rather than having a day off. All right. And then once I'll be straight with you all. When Bitcoin hits the all-time high, I would strongly recommend that you guys start pulling some profits from it. Realistically, I think we should do that. The only reason being is because when it does hit the all-time high, the markets are going to be in climatic mode. You know, it's like, forgive me, but it's like the orgasm that everybody's waiting to have. And then when that happens, it's done. You know, Bitcoin will then eventually become the flop and it will then go down. That's wrong. Could have used a different analogy, man. God's sake, bro. I've had a long day, right? I've had a long day. Anyways, so we're waiting for these results to come into play. What time are we on? Still got 30 minutes. Any questions, ladies and gentlemen? Russia is calling bomb threats. Yes, I understand all of that. Somebody calling UT? No, no one's calling me. UK Channel 4 live right now. Trump got more votes. Listen, this is what you're going to get. You are going to see this happening continuously. All right? There's going to be Trump's got more votes. Kamala's got more votes. Don't react to that. Okay? Don't. Because they've still got to count the votes. And there's going to be people that are going to trade it, all right? And if you are going to be trading it, guys, something that I spoke about with the Platinum members today is if you're going to use anything, use the block trade principle, okay? Now, there's more to this strategy, but it's ideally aimed for anyone that wants to try and take advantage of quick movement. Does it work on Bitcoin? Yes, it does, but you've got to let Bitcoin move a little bit more, okay? But the block principle goes on to say the following. The idea is that, let's give you another hindsight story. We all like a bit of hindsight. But anyways, so you've got this candlestick right here. This is a green vector candle block, all right? And the idea is that when you go across the chart, this candlestick, before it became, well, as it became the vector block, say you didn't have any of this stuff right here, you would be trading the logic that the market is going to react in this same way at some point in the future, okay? So if you are looking for longs via this green vector candle block right here, the idea is that you're not going to take any longs until you see a green vector candle breaking that point or price sustaining itself at the upper range of the block. So where's the upper range of the block? Well, it's this area right here. You see this? That's the high of the vector candle block itself. So if price can sustain itself at the highs of that candlestick range, then the idea is that it's going to move away from that point at some point. And if you took longs inside of this point, okay, you would have seen a bit of a drawdown. But if you waited for the logic of the upper band of the block to come into play, you wouldn't have taken the long. You would have been paying attention to when price was coming up to here. So even if you took a long on the break of it, you wouldn't have seen that much of a drawdown. Bitcoin rallies upwards. And that's something that you can actually use right now with Bitcoin. So the idea is this. Take the logic of the block principle and then go over and mark it to the left, to the right, sorry. So now we've got a red vector candle. So what are we looking for? Well, we're looking for price to sustain itself at this point. And as long as price can sustain itself above this upper range of this red vector candle block, it means that the guys that have been marking price to the downside, buying Bitcoin, are done with buying Bitcoin in this range. That means the logic says that we expect Bitcoin to move up from this point. Now, you've got to remember, Bitcoin has gone to its range daily high. That means it's traveled the highest point possible for its day on average, okay? And with that being said, it means that price is somewhat extended for the day. But when you actually look at the day's range itself, from the daily open to the range daily high, it's not that much of a big move in Bitcoin, okay? And the previous day's trading on Bitcoin kind of influences this range daily high, whether it's going to be a wide range or not, okay? But what we're looking for in principle is when you take in these blocks, the idea is that as long as price can consolidate, this is for short-term movement, as long as price can consolidate towards this upper band of the block, the idea is that the guys who have been buying the Bitcoin here are holding price to then effectively see the move to the upside. That's what you're going with, okay? Will it work every time? Who knows? You've got to take the trade. I gave you that rant last night about taking the trade because he ain't going to tell you nothing if you don't take the trade. How are you going to know if it's going to go up from this point and apply the logic of this red vector candle region? How are you going to know? You're not until you take the trade, you know? In my trading today, let's look at it. In my trading today with NASDAQ, right? How did I know at this point right here it was going to drop? Look at the drawdown I experienced. I experienced a stop run, but I added to the position at the same time, okay? What was I saying? Well, NASDAQ's been moving up all bloody day. So I'm expecting a bit of a retrace. Guess what, Tino? What's that, bro? Take the trade. How are you going to know if that logic's going to come true? Okay, so we took the trade. Happy days. We made a bit of money on the trade. Let's do it again. And then we did it again and again, 17 times. Happy days. We made some money. Okay. You got to take the trade because the trade is what will tell you if you are right or if you are wrong. It won't tell you if your analysis is right or wrong before the trade. It doesn't make sense. Did you see what I mean? It's just it's a joke. You can give me whatever analysis you want. I can give you whatever analysis right here, ladies and gentlemen. Look at Bitcoin on the daily time frame. Okay. What have we got here? Oh, I've got no moving averages. Do we need moving averages? Well, some of you might want the moving averages, so we'll put those back on for you all just to help you understand what the logic is behind the 5 and 13 EMA. Now, Bitcoin has, look, I said the close below the 5 and 13 EMA, it's going down. What did it do? It went down. If you took money or profits or you shorted it, congratulations. Now look what's happened. Bitcoin has now managed to get back up above the 5 and 13 EMA, but if you look closely, the 5 and 13 EMA are now compressed. This is a perfect time for the holders to make a decision. If you are going to be, as a holder, and you're considering loading up in this position, I would say that you've got to hold this position, hypothetically, if you decide to buy something right now. And yes, you are buying towards the all-time highs, but you're buying on the logic that there's going to be a breakout to the all-time high. That means if you buy at this point right now on Bitcoin, you are effectively waiting to see how the next daily candle is going to sustain itself. Why? Because we're going into the FOMC on the Thursday, whatever results we get tonight is naturally going to be fueling Bitcoin to move up. So you're either going to be buying now, loading up on Bitcoin now to trade the volatility of the election. If that doesn't look good for you, you then wait for tomorrow's daily close, and it has to be above the 5 and 13 EMA, which are these two price points right here. Okay? That's it. If you don't take the trade, you don't make money. But also, if you do take the trade, you can lose money. But you've got to understand the environment that you're trading in. You're trading an election. Get ready to get diddied. That again, these things that I'm coming out with, man. Shocking, man. Absolutely shocking. I knew that Tino saying that he won't trade today is like opening a window and don't expect to be. Listen, I trade hypothetically, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, if you're just going to go ahead and buy, all right, and Bitcoin slumps to the downside, like, well, guess what? It happens, man. What do you want me to do? I can't control the market, but I'm saying like it's one of these results need to hurry up. I'm tired, man. Anyways, listen, no, don't buy. Listen, don't. All right, stop it. Don't buy. Don't. All right, let's be responsible. We're having a bit of a laugh and a joke, guys. We're having a little bit of comedy, you know. It's a good time for everybody in America, you know. Where do you learn all the things you know about the Pedro? I really wanted to answer this question for you. I know you asked it in the question in the comment section on the YouTube channel. What a guy. Whilst I'm answering this question, is there a possibility that we could actually get the likes up? 1,700 of you amazing people. Just like the stream. See, I've got no poll right now, so you can only like the stream. And then I'll put the poll. And then you can do what you want with the poll. But Pedro's asked this question, and I'm going to answer this. Where do you learn all the things that you know, the Japanese correlation with the dollar, the S&P stocks, how to interpret the news, and know how it can affect all those things, etc., etc.? Fortunately, you can... Look, the thing is, you can actually buy books that will teach you about the relationship between the bonds market, derivatives especially. If you're a futures trader and you're not familiar with the derivatives concept itself, you're missing out. You really are. I had to study these books back at university, back in the day, you know, investment portfolio management. But they don't necessarily tell you correlations. They give you correlations, okay? So if the euro goes up, the dollar goes down. But it's how you translate that information. When you're always looking at those assets, you start to understand how something operates. I've been looking at the yen, I've been looking at the euro, I've been looking at gold, I've been looking at every single thing for a very, very long time. You then start to understand how things start to work. And it's all about the following. We know that the Japanese yen is a safe haven. And we know that Japan is the largest holder of US bonds. So that's going to tell me straight away that I've got to pay attention to the bonds market. I've got to pay attention to the yen. What's their interest rates? And if you are going to take any correlations with anything, the first thing you need to understand is where are you in terms of interest rates? We've just recently had a cutting in the cycle. So we're in an easing cycle right now. So that means that the Fed is effectively trying to reduce the interest rates to stimulate the economy. When you are in that phase, you then have to look at assets that are against the US dollar, because when they cut interest rates, it means that the yield is going down against the US dollar. So when you've got a tightening policy, you know that the dollar itself is going to appreciate because investors are going to get more of a return on holding dollars. Look at how the yields go up. When the yields go up, when interest rates are high, stock market tends to suffer with that. Okay. And when you pull that information together, you then come to it all and say to yourself, all right, then how does that help me trade? Well, the understanding of those correlations, when you see the correlations moving fast, if you see the Japanese yen shooting up, that's a problem. You know straight away that you're going to be shorting everything against the US. Sorry, you're going long on everything against the US dollar. That means you go long on Euro USD, you go long on GBP USD, you go long on Aussie USD. So you're pretty much going long against everything against the US dollar. You go long on Bitcoin. But when the bonds start to go up as well, but the stock market starts to suffer, that's when you've got to be careful, because that's when the carry trade is being unwinded. Because fundamentally, when the yen goes up and the euro goes up, it's assets against the US dollar. That means everything should be going up against the US dollar. That means Bitcoin should be going up. But when we saw the 5th of August contraction in the marketplace, when the Japanese cut the interest rates, that created a bit of a problem in the market because they ran to the bonds. You don't want them going to the bonds, because the bonds in principle are deemed as a low risk. If they're going into the stock market, that means they want high risk. And we've only seen that happen this year in August. When the bonds went up, the yen went up, the dollar went down, the euro went up, and the stock market said goodnight. And Bitcoin also said goodnight. But the volatility index ended up shooting to 30. And if you had gone long at the point of that going to 30, you would have made a bag or two, because everything then reversed all the way back up again. Okay. And that's how quick the market can react. So whoever wins this election, okay, the market will initially make a move and price in that move. They will price in the result. And if it works to go to the upside, take some money off the table, because then they will pull it back down. Alternatively, they could actually drop the market and then they will make the reversal. That will be the pricing in of the election. So when you're getting information and you're trying to put it to the test, okay, go back to today's live stream when we spoke about the idea of perceived value. So if you know the yen is a safe haven, you know that the dollar is a spot in the, you know that the dollar, it's, wow, that took time. Where was I? I'm lost on my trail of thought. Forgive me. I've lost it. That disturbed me, that did. What's your opinion about divergences between CVD and price, like limit buys, absorbing, selling, etc.? You know what? I don't really use divergences. I'm not a believer of divergences in the sense where I've got to react. I'm looking at how price is moving. And if I'm going to be focusing on divergences as a scalper, I ain't got time to sit and wait for divergences, man. I haven't, 17 trades today, 29 yesterday. You can see I'm taking a lot of trades. I haven't got time to wait for divergences. Now, if you are the type of trader that does that, then fine. Okay, you got to give it time. But the smaller the divergences, well, the smaller time frames, and you look at those divergences, it's, you know what, guys, when you get to a point in your trading, you'll understand that if you have loads of indicators on your chart, you're going to spend more time trying to make sense of how to make sense of that. When you cut it all back and then you focus on how the candlesticks move or how the depth of market moves, it's going to make life a lot easier for you. So let me just bring it to you in this example right here, guys. Okay. Look, this is what I'm working with. Okay. That's the point of control right there. So that's where most of the contracts have been exchanged. Who's in control? Bids or offers? Well, it's clear as day that when they accumulated that amount of contracts there, price then made the reversal to the upside. It went to seek value, okay? And that's what we managed to exploit. When I see contracts 279, 311, okay, I'm seeing that guys are bidding this point right here, taking up all the sellers. At the same time, the offers are coming in, encouraging the buyers to come in, okay? And when you see this relationship happening at such a high point in the chart, you know you're stepping into a climatic range where, in my opinion, this is where you're going to start looking to short things. But sometimes what the S&P likes to do, likes to just take the liquidity to the upside. I mean, look at that. Does that tell you in the candlestick that there's an order up there of 344 contracts? It doesn't tell you that. You make that assumption by looking at the candlestick and think, oh, who's up there? Where in this candlestick do you know that there's 344 contract orders at the top side there? There isn't. You're never going to see it. But the hybrid system does give you the idea that this move to the downside in Bitcoin has been triggered by a lot of people hitting the bids. We know that to be the case because we go and have a look. I mean, look at all these liquidators here. Liquidated traders, 2,429 traders were liquidated in the last hour. That is nuts, man. But look, Bitcoin's moved to the upside. What did we say earlier on? That we were favoring a rally. We were looking for a sweep to attack the offers. They were coming into play, okay? Now we've got more offers coming in. Look, 70,494. Someone wants to sell their Bitcoin at that point. Where are we? We're getting close to the results, guys. We're getting close to the results. This is where it gets interesting. We're getting close to the results. But again, offers 21 million at 71,450. Now you look at this and you think, yeah, baby, Bitcoin to the moon. Please don't think like that. Just know that someone is believing that they're going to be able to sell their Bitcoin at that point. Perceived value, okay? What are you looking for? You're looking for the idea that price is going to create that logic of perceived value. And that means that if price starts to work its way up, this order is going to stay committed in the chart. People are going to start buying Bitcoin because they're getting happy days, moon boy status, and they're going to be fueling that rally to the upside. Okay. So damn, that's rude. So when you're trying to understand if Bitcoin's going to go from one point to the next, again, what indicators do I really use? I don't use no indicators. The hybrid system itself looks like an indicator, but it's not. The most extravagant indicator on this chart that I've got right here is the moving averages. And at best of times, I don't even like to use them either. There's no point. You know, you can use them to get context about a range. You can, like the cloud here. You can use it. Look at the daily time frame. All right, let's look at it like this. Okay, we're using the 5 and 13 EMA on the daily time frame. All right, so that's a good time to be using the moving averages because you take into consideration the daily time frame. Go to the 4-hour time frame. Right, you can see that price now is stalling at the 50 EMA. So if you believe that Bitcoin's going to go up, what do you need to see happening? Well, you need to see Bitcoin breaking away from the upper band of the 50 EMA because principally volatility is flat on Bitcoin. It's not doing anything. So what are you waiting for? You're waiting for them to get above that. For my trend followers, 5 and 13 EMA, you see this little yellow line here and this red one right here? When these two cross over the 50 EMA, sell your NAN. Bitcoin's off. You need a green vector candle to break that point. Sell your NAN. Bitcoin's off. Okay. So yeah. Any questions, guys? Because we're going to get very, very close to it all. Okay. So here we go. Poll closes in what? Wow. Bro, 1 hour. One hour, man. Never mind. I'm cool with that. Okay. No one's really saying anything. CJ, what's good, man? What's good? Some guy talking French to me. Tu es un chef, tu me fais penser à Traders Reality. En français, Fonda plus Thier, un grand merci. Whatever he said. Hoorah. That's the guy. Okay, so I've got some comments here. Here we go. Nothing coming in just yet, guys. Let me just go and have a look at Axio. Is Axio doing anything? No. Axio, is it going to say that? Hold on a second. Here we go. Nothing's coming up. So this is quite good, actually. It updates every 26 seconds, but we haven't got anything just yet on that story. So we'll keep an eye on that. Okay, then. 2 questions. What have you got? 649 of you. Please like the live stream, ladies and gentlemen. Tino, why does sometimes price reverse after a red vector has formed at a low? Isn't a red vector indicating that it will move down? New to this. Sorry. No problem. A red vector candle does indicate that prices are going down, but the reason it's going down is because people are allowing the purchases to come into play. So when someone is selling, someone is actually buying. When the red vector candle stops and then makes a reversal back up, that's the trap's been set. The bids have been hit. Okay? So the bids have collected the orders from the sellers, and then they just then reversed it back up. So they've trapped the sellers, and then they make the reversal. So the best way for you to use the vector candles is to effectively say to yourself, where is the red vector candle coming into play? Is it happening at the highest point of a move, or is it happening at the lowest point of a move? Because 9 times out of 10, any red vector candle that you see happening at the lows of a move, so it's been going down and you see a red vector candle hitting the lows of a move, or it's coming from a move to the downside, that strong red vector candle is the bid setting up the market to effectively make the reversal. Okay. And that is evident with the amount of orders being hit in terms of sell orders. There's an exhaustion coming into play, and lots of guys selling, and they're like, oh my God, get away from here. I want to sell, sell, sell. And then everything just reverses back up because the guys who are buying are like, nope, we need to start selling now. Okay. Because if we can change the psychology of those traders at that point in time, whether it's the algorithms, remember, algorithms were programmed to trigger at certain price points. There's a queuing system of orders. And if there is an influx of market orders coming in, that algorithm then can get triggered and then say, okay, we're in a buy program now, off we go. And then it's going to start moving in that opposite direction. Tino, how do you factor in liquidity in with the vector candles? Good question. How do you factor in liquidity in the vector candles? The wider the vector, the less liquidity. That's a fact. The wider the candlestick, the less liquidity. Because it's an imbalance, right? Now, when you see price going up on a green vector candle, you then say to yourself, okay, is that a lot of liquidity? Well, you want to back that liquidity up by looking at the volume. And if you see a vector candle appearing and the actual depth of market is showing that there is a profile of liquidity in there, then you can assume that the vector will be recovered later on, but there's been a collective imbalance. So there's been a lot of orders and lots of volatility, and it's led price to go up, okay? But most of the time, vector candles are effectively imbalances. So they're low liquidity, moves to the upside or to the downside red vector. Okay. All right, then. Mad love, guys. 1,800 of you like it. Oh, in the live stream. Mad love and respect. Okay. Can you make a live just for explaining risk management you do when you trade size, percentage of drawdown you allow in the trade for fast in, fast out strategy with real numbers? Yeah. Go back and look at one of my live streams. I think it was a couple of weeks ago when we lost 25 racks. Yeah, I talk about risk management in there, so go and check that out. Tino, can you tell us your NASDAQ strategy like if we were newborn babies? I think you are an AI. Mad love. Do you think I'm AI? I'm not AI, am I? I don't behave like I'm AI. Come on, guys, man. I'm human at the end of the day. I'm just a little bit special. Anyways. What's my NASDAQ strategy? It's going to sound crazy saying this, but there is a methodical approach and then there's an intuitive approach. Okay. What do we mean by methodical? I look to see vector candles. Can I see price coming back to those vectors? Can I see price going back to the VWAP? Can I see price bouncing from the VWAP? To visualize it for you, this is what I'm looking for on the NASDAQ. Okay. If I'm seeing the VWAP, where's my thing? Here's the VWAP. Okay. Here is price. When price comes down to this VWAP, if we are in a favor of price going up, I want to see red vector candles on the move to the downside. I'll give it room to see if they can sweep the VWAP with the idea that they're going to come back up. And then if it starts to work its way up, happy days. I'm trading that previous high. That's all I'm doing. I'm also paying attention to the depth of market. I'm also watching that. I'm also watching this. Okay. This helps me massively. It helps me justify why we're going to go back into the vector. Why? Because I'm going to see the orders coming in to justify it. And I look at the differences between what is being hitting on the offers, and I look at the difference between what's being on the bids. Okay, you can see that there's a lot of people wanting to sell at that point, which could also imply that there's a bit of a wall there. And if there's not enough bidders coming in to match the book, there could be enough balance on the order flow, which means that price might actually struggle to go in one direction or the other. Okay, so those are things that I'm paying attention to. But to simplify it, I'm trading vector candle recoveries and imbalances and bounces off the VWAP. Okay, and then there's intuition. There's going back in time and remembering that it's done it before, because the NASDAQ will always do the same thing over and over again. Just look, this is the depth of market today. Okay, this is the NASDAQ on the tick chart 1987. Okay, 987. If we just put that and put a VWAP on there, that same logic. What did I just say? Okay, we went into the VWAP, come down, didn't hit the VWAP. And sometimes you got to take the trade. Okay, if you're going to set your stop outside of the VWAP, then you can go long at that point. But that's the logic that I took. Taking that trade, up she went. There it is right there. Vector candles to the left, up she went. Okay, they did it twice. They came down, W formation, little W right there. As you can see it, comes up, comes out, level 1, rise, level 2, drop, retrace, continuation out. Cycle within a cycle. Those who know, know. Okay, does that make sense? Here we go. Let's have a look at the Bitcoin and depth of market. Just looking at the orders right now, I can see there's not, look, we got all these guys up here at 70,000 that really want to sell, but the order book on Bitcoin is very, very light. Look, no contracts of interest. I'm not seeing the contracts. Okay, so the market could actually hunt to encourage them. Here we go. Got some flavor coming in. We could actually get ready for the futures markets to open. So NASDAQ is going to be very interesting right now. It's going to be very interesting to see how the NASDAQ is going to open up. Very interesting. Will you buy when the market is pumped? That's why it's called a good buy zone. Good buy zone. I like that. Yes, I have. Hurst Horns. I have done the building positions, but I've got little patience to trade NASDAQ, believe it or not. I've got very little patience to trade it. Once I've made money, I'm out. I don't care. It can do whatever it wants afterwards. As long as I've made some money off it, I'm out. You know, and that's how I maintain the consistency of keeping my risk to a certain level. Like a couple of weeks ago when I took that loss, man, it happens, man. You know, but now we're back, you know, back into it. Why don't you use Bookmap anymore? It's slow. I get more information on the depth of market, to be honest with you. What are your thoughts on to start buy oil as it's quite low, or if Trump and Harris wins, do you think it will go up in the next few months or next year, or would you buy gold instead? Buy gold. Gold, you can never go wrong with it. Oil will always be subject to macroeconomic factors, OPEC, you know, wars and what have you. Gold is a traditional safe haven. It is a store of value, and that's where my head's at with it, with gold. Here we go. I mean, the polls aren't coming in, but they said, look, expected results around 6 p.m. Eastern Standard. It's not really giving us anything just now, is it? Nothing. Not getting any of the results just yet, so we'll wait and see how that works out. Bitcoin, red vector candle recovery could be on the cards, guys. VJ, what's good? On the second chart, like a bad boy, 100x, okay? Just literally use that strategy for a quick profit. Oh, so you used the block principle. Well done. Those who just did it. Oh, yeah. Look, it just did it, didn't it? Red vector candle, if you just took that trade, red vector candle block, okay? Coming away from that point. All right, it hasn't made a great move up just per se, but the principle of that logic is there. So if you made money on that, well done to you, bro. Well done. Okay, then. Tino, how do you know that they will go back into the Brinks box? You don't, as sometimes they just keep on going in one direction. That's where intuition comes in, man. You can't, listen, guys, whatever strategy you do decide to use, there is no why does it do this and why does it do that. You're never going to get that. And we will never know what the market is going to do indefinitely. Don't come to this game seeking guarantees, okay? Because you're not going to get any. The guarantee is, the only guarantee that I will give you about the market is tomorrow there will always be a market. That's the fundamental guarantee, you know? And that's the only guarantee that will hold true in this marketplace. Learn to be exposed to trades, because that will give you information. So you right now asking me about the Brinks, Okay. Why? How do we know that the Brinks box is not going to come down, or how long is it going to keep on going up for? Okay. You need to expose yourself to scenarios where you've witnessed that. How many times do you trade the Brinks? What's your inventory of history in terms of Brinks box trades? How often have you traded it? How many variations of the Brinks box have you traded? Because those variations are then going to lead you to the point where one day they're going to repeat one of those variations, because it's going to go and sweep the high or sweep the low or consolidate sideways. It's going to do one of those three things. Okay. Mad love to you, man. Or somatic videos. New subscriber. If you are new and you are not subscribed, type 1. If you are new and you are subscribed, type 1. Just make the chat get busy. Yeah, the VWAP time. I use session VWAP. Okay, so when a new session opens, I use the VWAP for the session itself. I'm not time-based on VWAP. I just look at the session. So New York Open futures, 9:30 in the morning, bang, whatever the VWAP is, whatever time frame, I'm trading off that logic. What's this? Showing my shoes. Who wants to see my shoes? You want to see the shoes? Can you guys count? We said 1. 1. 7. When did I say 9? I didn't even say 3. Yes, so here are the Trump shoes, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know who asked. I showed them the shoes, though. Here we go. Anything? Any other questions? Is anybody happy? Bitcoin's making some movement, man. So, yeah. Is Trump going to win? How cool would that be? Made in Vietnam. Yes, that's the crap thing, man. They are actually made in Vietnam. I did say, right? My days. I did say, right, that if Trump loses, I'm wearing these to my local shop. I really am. If he wins, they're going straight up on my wall in a frame. Yeah. That's what I'm going to do. Show your neck. Don't want to see my necklace, man. What the hell? Forget Bitcoin. Liverpool is king. What aftershave are you wearing for Joe Ling tomorrow? Pentalagon. Does anybody know that one? William Pentalagon. Very nice. That's the flavor right there. What is the interest from? Okay. Tino, explain what you look for when you look at the Doom. The DOM. What do I look for? I just look for volatility. I look at vector candles. Like, look, okay, look at this, right? So Bitcoin right now, are we getting anything? Hold on a second. Is there any news? I don't even know if I can play this, but I'm going to put it up right now just for you guys to listen to.
Republicans have done a lot of early voting and mail voting in Pennsylvania, in particular, this election cycle. So neither of those facts are dispositive regarding the outcome, but they are interesting data points that
he looks like he can't be bothered.
Might be more telling than the polls.
Who's that?
Yeah, now I know Trump lost your support after January the 6th. Can you believe that he
Green
is
eyes, man.
so close
Killing
to
it.
being elected again?
This idiot
after
with these
what happened on
headphones,
January
man.
the 6th?
At times I do scratch my head about that, but honestly, I think he has a very, very badly flawed opponent in a variety of ways. And so I understand why people will make the decision that
most
maybe they like
important
the
issue
policies
right now.
that former President Trump, when he was president, pursued, and they're concerned about the very far left orientation of Kamala Harris. So, look, in my view, neither one of them
bothered about the state of democracy.
Qualified.
31 on the economy.
By virtue
I
of
told
his
you, man.
behavior
People
after
are getting
losing
it
the 2020
wrong.
election.
People are getting it
And
wrong.
Kamala
People are
Harris
just
has been on
this
the fringe of the
this
political
election is
spectrum on the far
weird.
left.
It
So,
really is.
I'm kind of a man
Look, the
without a
foreign
home at the
policy, that's
presidential
what
level,
Trump's
but
going to be
fortunately,
sorting out, and
I've got
people
lots of
don't
good
care about
Republicans
it.
I can support in the Senate and House races.
I'm tempted to ask who you did vote for.
This
I'll
is
tell you who I
unbelievable.
voted for. I wrote in Nikki Haley. And, you know, it's interesting. As you may know, during the Republican primary,
how many of you voted
by
today?
the time it got to
Well, how many of
Pennsylvania,
you?
votes
Well, you
relatively
can't really do
late.
much now, but have you
most
all
cycles.
voted? That's the question.
Nikki Haley had
Have
already
you all
withdrawn from
voted?
the race. She had announced that she was no longer a candidate, and yet 15%
this guy's
of
boring me
Republican
now.
voters voted.
We'll wait until someone else is talking. What's Bitcoin doing? NASDAQ should be, the futures market should be open now. Here we go. Quite a bit of volatility at the start of the market. Okay, so we swept the high. Now we're going to try and come back down again on the NASDAQ, possibly. That could be the case. Not from the UK. Bear with me a second, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to have myself a nice little sip of the cup of tea. Give me a sec. Okay, then. Is that an issue? That Bitcoin CME futures managed to swing fail pattern the all-time high. Listen, man, you're not going to get anything unless you've got to watch it. This is babysitting. Trading is babysitting. You've got to be close with your asset. You've got to watch it. You've got to know how it behaves at levels. So when you see it sweep an all-time high or you see it sweep a previous high, what are the chances of it coming back down again? I'm going to scalp that. I'm going to take that. Okay? Remember, depth of market for me gives me a lot of freedom. It really does. You see this here? See how they swept the high right there? I'm going short from that point. And if I can take advantage of NASDAQ dropping from 330 all the way down to 297, you understand how much of a move that is on the depth of market. It's a huge move. Drop all the way down. That's massive. I can get easy 150 tick move on that, you know? So it's all relative to your position, your account size, your asset that you're trading. Here we go. Bitcoin not really doing too much. And right there, let's go back into Sky News. Here we go. What's this guy saying?
Behind us. She was voted the most left-wing, the most liberal of all senators, judging by her voting record. So she's had a fascinating political journey where she's gone from being very left-wing. She's tacked much more to the centre. She's done a bit of running over the past few months to present herself as a more centrist candidate, to be able to try and bring in those people who might not be able to vote for Donald Trump, but would have loved it if Nikki Haley had been a candidate.
I'm really surprised that they did not utilize Nikki Haley. I'm speaking of the Trump campaign.
Who the hell's Annie Duo?
Because she does have a big following. We saw that with the turnout for her.
You don't want to be seeing me drinking tea, man.
In any way,
that was a mistake?
I believe it's
Tina,
a big
what do you think about the Traders Rally?
Not only is he running against a strong
guy.
woman, but he had this ability to utilize
If
her as a surrogate.
Trump
at
wins,
least
will
in some of these
Dogecoin
swing states,
become
and he chose
the
not
new
to.
official currency?
Why do you think that would be?
They couldn't agree between them.
You know,
Trump
why do you
didn't
not
really
drink?
want,
Wouldn't it help your brain calm a little
the
bit
fact that she
after
opposed
stress
him in
of
the primary
trading?
was not something he was likely to forgive. He didn't really want her on board. She also, to be honest with you, was playing a kind of very careful game. She finally wrote in the Wall Street Journal an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal just yesterday saying, I don't like Donald Trump, I don't like his personality, I don't like his character, but he'd be a better president on the policies than Kamala Harris to vote for. That was a really intriguing thing of her to do, because what she did is, if she had not come out publicly, she previously endorsed him, but the fact that she hadn't campaigned with him, the fact that she hadn't been seen with him, if he had then lost, her chances of, or even if he'd won, her chances of being the candidate in 2028 would be dramatically diminished. So she was kind of like making a little concession, a little down payment.
Who's going to be in charge of that? I mean, can you honestly see Harris running the show there?
I'm kind of still on your side, so you can't really accuse me of having sabotage.
Trump's home.
There we are. That's
when you think about it, because he's been there before.
There it is. That's the White House. That's what it's all
I don't know,
about.
man. Like, can I see Harris?
We'll be back at the top of the hour.
Like, can I envision Harris talking to Putin? Can't. Oh, hold on. Can you hear me? There we go. Yeah, can I hear Harris talking to Trump? Oh, sorry, talking to Putin and resolving a nuclear threat. I know you can't hear me. I know you can't hear me. You can hear me now. I know. You can hear me now. Yes. It's still playing loud. You can hear me. You can hear me. You can hear me. It's done. You can hear me. You can hear me. All right. Sorry. Oh, my days. Dude, your stream is not live. How's my stream not live? Explain Dom, bro. Oh. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, it's done now. That video 20 minutes behind. Oh, my days. All right, let's just listen to it now. Hold on.
Through the Senate as well, and there are other seats up for grabs as well tonight. Let's have a look at as well the House of Representatives. That's sort of the equivalent in a way of the House of Commons. There are 435 seats. Every single one is up for election every 2 years. Lucky voters in America get to vote for this every 2 years on a cycle. They will all be starting to colour that map in tonight. And there's something else really interesting as well that will get less attention but is really, really important, which is this. There are ballot measures going on throughout the United States tonight. These are special amendments, usually to state constitutions, and the most hotly watched and contested ones of all are with regards to abortion. Of course, since Roe v. Wade was overturned back in 2022, that is the constitutional right to an abortion, lots of states, including Florida, including Iowa, including Arizona, have reverted to an abortion ban or a near total abortion ban. Florida, for example, has a 6-week abortion ban, having previously had some of the most liberal abortion laws anywhere in the South. There is a ballot initiative on the ballot in Florida today that to a
So he's leading by 2 states already. We're getting data. So now listen, you're going to start seeing some movement happening. Bitcoin's coming up towards, it needs to clear 70 to really get people excited. But we're not really seeing that just yet.
To the polls for the Kamala Harris coalition. So it all, in the end, relates back to the presidency, but there is a lot more than just the presidency at stake tonight, Yelda.
Lewis, thank you so much. And no doubt we will continue to hear from Lewis throughout the night as we start to get some of those results. Well, we're live right across the country tonight. We're with the Harris and Trump camps, and we're in some of the battleground states that will decide this election. James Matthews is in Florida with Team Trump, and our Martha Kellner is here in Washington with Kamala Harris. Dominic Waghorn is in Pennsylvania, where, as we've been saying, there are 19 electoral votes up for grabs. Cordelia.
I favor taking longs on the tape, Peter. Only longs. People tend to be more optimistic than pessimistic on the book.
And Shingi Mararike is in Arizona, where there are 11 electoral college votes up for grabs. Let's go straight to James, who is in Florida for us. And James, as I was saying, you're with Team Trump. We saw Donald Trump and the former First Lady a little earlier. They were out, putting their vote through just very close to where you are and where their home is.
Hi, Yalda. Yeah, Donald Trump out today voting. Amusingly said he wouldn't tell us who he had voted for. I thought, Yalda, there's been much commentary about Donald Trump retiring towards the end of the campaign. I wouldn't say I disagree with that. I thought he looked tired today. He is 78, of course, and has been hitting it hard through the swing states. 4 rally stops yesterday alone. But yeah, in the company of his wife, Melania, he said, he was asked, does he have any regrets about the way his campaign went? You always have regrets, he said, but couldn't think of any at the time. He said he would concede the election if it was free and fair, entirely in keeping with his narrative throughout, qualifying that by the statement that he's not saying it is going to be free and fair, or backing the notion of integrity. And let me tell you this, Yalda, in the past hour or so, he's been on Truth Social as he sits in Mar-a-Lago. He said this about 45 minutes ago. A lot of talk about massive cheating in Philadelphia, law enforcement coming. 15 minutes ago, he tweeted this: Philadelphia and Detroit, heavy law enforcement is there. Now, Philadelphia City Commissioner, he himself has posted on social media that there's absolutely no truth in that. But I do wonder, are we seeing Donald Trump writing a draft, his draft of what he would see as the story of the night? Certainly if he loses. That plan to undermine the integrity, to question the authority of the electoral process and go to the courts and challenge it, and challenge an outcome that he doesn't like. Interestingly, in Mar-a-Lago, he's in the company of Nigel Farage, by the way. He's been tweeting from the back of a cab on his way to Trump's private residence, but also by Trump's side will be Elon Musk. And on this of all nights, when there will be uncertainty, questions as the results come in, he's in the company of an individual who, of course, controls X, and many people will be consuming their knowledge of the election and having their thoughts shaped about outcomes, about integrity by that very platform. So interesting in terms of the personnel and how it will play out overnight. Briefly, I'm in the convention centre. We're quite close to Mar-a-Lago, a couple of miles down the road. This is a huge place, huge media presence.
We don't care about your opinion on the place right now. You're not giving me anything, all right? Anyways, Bitcoin not really doing anything. We're getting any information on this. Let's see, refresh this bad boy up. Nothing. Oh, okay. All right. So 2 states right now. Indiana, Trump, 22,847 votes. Harris, 8,000. Poor guy, Oliver, man. All right. Kentucky, 27,550 votes. Harris, 14,267. All right, then. That's where it's getting interesting. All right, who's talking now? Here we go.
Of what the mood is like there. I'm hearing that they're anxious, they're nervous, but they're also quite excited. And this is a huge day for both camps.
Yeah, Team Harris nervously looking at that exit poll data for any clues as to how this election is going to augur for her. I am at Howard University, not far from where you are, about 10 minutes drive from the White House. It's one of America's largest historically black colleges, and it's Kamala Harris's election night HQ. It's also her alma mater. She graduated from here in 1986 with a politics and economics degree, and her team hope that over the next few days she can stand on that stage returning here as America's first female president. But just to give you a sense of the scale of the challenge for her in collecting enough votes to do that, I was here at Howard University last week speaking to students. You know, this is a centre for black excellence. It's somewhere where she should be able to rely on fairly steadfast support. But some of those students were saying they'd not been convinced. They'd not heard enough from her. She'd not made her case for being president forcefully enough to them, and they said they weren't sure which way they were going to vote or if they were going to vote at all. One student was also...
Bitcoin's climbing up, ladies and gentlemen. We've got this move up to 60. We go 69,610. Not bad. We really need to get into value area high above 70,000 to really get the momentum going. We just quickly have a look at the NASDAQ for a second to see where we are, because that should be pumping up a little bit. Nope, it's not moving up. Bitcoin seems to be leading the party very slightly back into that red vector candle recovery, but we'll see where the story ends up going.
Has been courting the Gen Z vote in a major way over the past 3 months, and we know that younger voters are very motivated by the battle for reproductive rights. It's why we've seen Kamala Harris on stage over the past few weeks with women telling their own abortion stories. And these are not women who have elected to have abortions for financial reasons, for lifestyle reasons, or the myriad other reasons that women have abortion. These are women who have wanted pregnancies, who then experience serious medical problems, but are unable to get abortions in their home state, and then have these harrowing stories. I've heard them firsthand, where they've had to travel across state lines, sometimes hundreds of miles, to receive abortion care. The Harris team hope that those stories have resonated enough in swing states with those really crucial voters.
You guys are cussing about this woman, man. Leave her alone. He's been in that position all night.
We're joined now in the studio by Ambassador John Bolton, who was National Security Advisor in the Trump White House. We've got quite a gathering of former Trump employees, but good evening, and thanks for being with us. I just wonder, first of all, did you ever think Trump would get this close to a second term?
I didn't. He shouldn't have, and I think it's a responsibility of the Republican Party and a lot of people in it who brought him back from the political dead. And
what you have to say,
if he's elected,
you're boring. Anyways, let's have a look at what's going on X. Anyone saying anything? Kamala Harris, election disruptions, threats in Georgia, Massachusetts, machines. Here we go.
The ground there in Georgia who are affiliated with the election there. And here's what we're learning at this hour. Fulton County will likely seek a court an extension of polling hours. So here's what's going on there. Affected by those.
Wow. That's very interesting. Okay, Bitcoin not really doing anything. Guys, it's probably going to be, when we actually get the flavor from Bitcoin, it's probably as the vote closes. You know, because I'm not really seeing anything else coming. Let me just refresh this right here. How come they've put up already the 2 states right there? It's going to be very interesting. Where are all you guys from? Is anyone from Indiana in the live stream, and anyone from Kentucky? It's going to be an interesting evening, I'll tell you that, guys. It really is. Okay, traders rally. It will be the major swing states that will be the big price movers, of course. Yeah, I get that. But you've got to remember as well, it's the poly markets are going to be then dictating as well. Because ultimately, when they're putting money down, that's a belief and that's a conviction. The market will actually respond to that. Pennsylvania, we've got Pennsylvania in the house. East London, mate. What's good, bro? Vegas, Nevada. Okay, cool. Cuba, New Orleans. Is there anyone from Kentucky? Indianapolis, okay. Oh, look at that. God, they've got so many votes to count, man. That's going to be crazy. How are they going to get it all? Oh, God. I don't understand what they're going to be doing with that. Okay, then. Tino, how do you select your trading assets to trade each day? I just can win some money on Bitcoin, but would like to start trading other options. You can trade various other options in, look, I mean, you can trade on BTCC, okay, because that's the exchange we're partnered with. And you can trade the NASDAQ and the S&P. So you go over here, click the tokenized stocks, and you can trade NASDAQ, S&P, gold, silver, and stocks. If you join BTCC, that gives you a bit of a hedging platform, to say the least. Okay, great for anyone in the States because you do get no KYC and VPN with that. You don't need VPN. Okay, but picking the asset, it has to be all about your personality. All right, you need a fast-moving asset because you're an impulsive person. You're a scalper. NASDAQ and S&P. S&P is a little bit more forgiving than the NASDAQ, but you got to really have. They call NASDAQ crack for traders, and it really is because it's just a very fast-moving asset, and you've got to be very careful with how to play it. And you only trade on the depth of market as well. That's going to be a tough one. Some states' electoral college reps are forced to cast their vote with popular vote. Some states have their results right away. Oh, God. Yes, I agree. Next election should be done on the blockchain. That'll be interesting. And you pay with XRP because it'll be so bloody cheap that anyone will be able to vote with it. Stupid asset. I even saw, what's his name? Ripple CEO. Charles, what was his name again? I don't even want to remember his foul name. He was on my TV today. Wow, really cheesed me off seeing his face. That's BTCC. It's in the description. Go check it out. BTCC. Okay? It's in the description of the live. Join with the Traders Reality link and you get a 10% bonus, which is paid out on a Tuesday. And yeah. That's the exchange right there, which gives you the access to trade the NASDAQ, the S&P, Google, Microsoft, all the top stocks as well. All right. And crypto at the same time. Good hedging platform, in my opinion. If you're stuck in a situation. Okay. Back to depth of market, back to Bitcoin. We're going to see some movement very shortly, guys. 35 minutes into the election termination of the polls. Any other questions, guys? How many likes? Guys, 959 likes. If we could get the likes up, that will be very flavorable. Okay. Anybody new to the live stream, please press 1 if you've seen my shoes. I'm sure I just want to show my shoes. These were, I can't buy these in the US. Sorry, in the UK. I can't. They don't ship to the UK. But a gentleman got them for me. You know, I didn't even. I wanted to get a pair, but I couldn't. And he got me this pair. So mad love to you again, my bro. Timeless, timeless. Thank you so much. So Trump kicks. They're cool, aren't they? Look at that. Awesome. Made in Vietnam. Where is it? Should say it. See it? No? There you go. Ah, forget that. Man, I'm not doing that. Wasting my time. Trying to waste time. Here we go. BTC. Making the recovery of the red vector candle. And there is the block principle right there, guys. There's that block principle we spoke about in the live. So it's doing its business right now. Happy days. Well done, BTC. Tino, can you trust the DOM on a funded platform such as TopStep? Yes, you can, only if you pay for the data. Pay for the level 2 data. All right? That way you can cover yourself. That guy brings you back to this shirt brings you back to the 90s. It's red too. We know how you would vote. Move to the States already. You know, I'd love to move to the States, man. I really would love to move to the States. I really would. That'll be awesome. I had seen P. Diddy wearing... This is Lacoste, man. Don't even say that to me. Don't even tell me that, because I'll burn absolutely every Lacoste top I have. Yeah, you get 20x leverage on when you're trading NASDAQ and the S&P on BTCC. Come on. What? What does that say? Final polls in Georgia will not close until Q1. Oh, my days. Oh, man. What is going on? They're really trying to go for it now, aren't they? This guy looks like Johnny Bravo. It's Johnny Bravo face. That's very interesting. Any news on this right now? Let's just quickly update this. Tino, is there a digital version of that huge chart you have of the S&P? No, there isn't. This is a one-off chart, man. This chart that I've got, it's a one-off chart. You won't be able to get it. And it's sad, because I'd love to all of you to have it. Trump has spiked up. Hold on. Wait there. Here we go. Poly markets. What we got? Trump has spiked up. Listen, this normally happens, though. This normally happens. What's it taking so long? Well, whilst we're waiting for that, I can just wait there. Nothing's been discussed there. Bitcoin, what you doing? Blue vector candle right there. Here we go. So let's have a look at the poly markets here. Why is it taking so long? What on earth is going on there? Wow. What? Do I need a lack of... What? Give me something. Give me something. Give me something. World's largest prediction market. There we go. Let's go to there. Hurry up. Make it happen. Do I need a VPN for this? Am I not allowed to access this? What a waste of time. Green vector candle on Bitcoin, ladies and gentlemen. Euro scalping short thoughts. Euro shorts. Dollar's not open yet. Don't trade euro just yet, because dollar's not open. Don't. That's that. Get into that practice of not trading until the dollar dominance is open. Okay, you can take advantage of it, but just be careful, because Bitcoin's going up. Yen futures are coming down, so that's good news for us. So the carry is coming into play. Bitcoin's doing its thing. Wow, poly markets don't seem to be doing anything. Never mind. So the odds have actually spiked. Nothing happening there. This old dude keeps talking. Go away. Anyways. Oh, God. I'm trading, to help you understand, I'm using 30 lots on CFDs. And so that's over here. So let me just put it into perspective for you. So I'm going at 30 lots, which are margin of around 2.5, 3 grand for each position. So I'm trading max 4 positions. So I'm putting quite a bit of margin up, but I'm trading NASDAQ and it moves pretty fast. And so we started the balance today, started on 19, and then we ended up on 23 for the day. So it's been a nice little run up. But we had 5K in this account. We've run it up to 21. So in essence, I've nearly made back my 25K. Actually, I've made back my 25K that I lost. So we're back in the green, ladies and gentlemen. We're not in that drawdown anymore. So happy days. What? Harris 73,246. What is that? Where are you getting that information? Wow. Polymarket is 60% Trump, 39% Harris. Okay, then. Any news on that? Let's explore what's going on. So there's elections, disruption stuff on there. Why has Trump media gone and taken a bad drop? Harris.
Actually, I'm disappointed. I think Oprah's become a major divider in our country. And I think, frankly, she should be ashamed of herself. And you know who else should be ashamed? Fox. Because I've seen Oprah on Fox about 50 times making the same statement. And I think it's a disgrace what Fox does, because everyone thinks Fox is so pro-Trump. They're not pro-Trump at all.
I need that hat.
Put Oprah.
I want that hat. I do want that hat. I've got the shoes. I need the hat. Yeah, I know, Josh. I know. Unfortunately, I know I traded, man. But what can I do, man? This is what we got to do. Blame the Discord. Platinum members. That's your fault. You were chatting awesome stuff today. All right, then. I'm just trying to see what questions you guys... Can you share a watch list from the Platinum trade setups? A watch list. When you say a watch list... The Platinum trade setups, we focus on Euro, gold, oil, Bitcoin, Solana, Ethereum, NASDAQ. Those are the asset classes that we focus on. Okay, Bitcoin trying to make a little bit of a reversal. You're still live. Yes, Houdini, what's good, my friend? Yeah, we are live. We're waiting for the information. Apparently, the polls will close in the next... Where is it? I just saw it. Wait a second. The polls will close in the next 20 minutes, I think. What's Israel Prime Minister saying now? Uh-oh. Okay, Benjamin has fired Defense Minister Yoav Gallant. Oh, God. Names Israel Katz as new Israeli Defense Minister, Gideon Saar as Foreign Minister. So he's having a change-up. Scan for full results. Hold on. What are you doing, man? Let me just scan that bad boy right there. There you go. What are the results? Where are they going with this? I don't want to download. For God's sake, man. Give me the information. This dude is an idiot. Come on. Right, what's this guy? Here we go. Listen to what he has to say.
That we'll be talking about a lot tonight. We've talked already about the 7 key swing states which are going to dominate this election and dominate the coverage of this evening. You can see them there in grey there, as opposed to red or black. And indeed, we can see that, of course, these were pretty much the same states. Let's go back to 2020. These were pretty much the same states that were being heavily contested in the 2020 presidential election. So it's worth just reminding ourselves how Joe Biden did it. And indeed, Joe Biden took 6 of them. So if we think, we've got Georgia, North Carolina, Donald Trump had, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Nevada, Arizona. As you can see, Joe Biden got to 306 electoral college votes by winning 6 of those 7 swing states, and he came close-ish in North Carolina. And in particular, it's worth just talking about these terms because we're going to be using them as shorthand a lot this evening, which is this. We've got the Rust Belt states, or the Great Lakes states. These are these up here. The 3 here. We've got Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. These are real kind of solid rocks in the Democratic coalition. They have been held in every single presidential election by a Democrat, whether they won or whether they lost, since 1992, apart from in 2016, when Donald Trump took all three, which is how he got to 306 electoral votes in that election himself. These are post-industrial or industrial states, a bit whiter than most of the rest of the United States, older, more non-college educated voters, exactly the sort of coalition that Donald Trump did very, very well in with 2016 and which Joe Biden was selected in 2020 to be the answer to Donald Trump in order to be able to at least take some of them back and put them back together with the traditional Democratic coalitions of black voters, Hispanic voters, minority voters, and white non-college educated voters. So that is the Rust Belt, and they have generally speaking, in recent election cycles, been trending towards the Republican Party, but still just about enough narrowly Democratic. Then, of course, we've got different states. We've got the Sun Belt. So this is Georgia, to some extent North Carolina here, and then you've got Arizona and Nevada. These are states which are having big demographic changes, traditionally have tended towards the Republican Party, but particularly after COVID, and particularly generally, as I say, with demographic change, lots of universities expanding and all those sort of things, they are becoming more diverse over time and, generally speaking, trending towards the Democratic Party. And increasingly, we can see with an exceptional ground game, particularly in states like Georgia and in Arizona, the Democrats, for the first time in 2020, managed to flip these states blue for the first time in a political generation. Joe Biden flipped Georgia for the first time a Democrat had carried that state since 1992. Before that, you have to go all the way back to 1976, Jimmy Carter winning it. And in Arizona as well, the first time a Democrat winning since Bill Clinton won it in 1996. If Kamala Harris, the route for either Donald Trump or Kamala Harris is either through all of these, or ideally, as Joe Biden nearly did in 2020, in both. So we will be talking a lot about the Rust Belt. We'll be talking a lot about the Sun Belt because those are the places where this election is going to be fought and lost.
Lewis, thank you so much. We just want to bring you all up to date because, of course, in about, I believe, 20 minutes' time or so, the first lot of polls were supposed to close, and we were really focused on that key battleground state, Georgia. But we have learnt in the last half an hour or so that Georgia will now not close until 7:45, so they will keep some polls open for an extra 45 minutes. They're saying that 10 polling stations have extended their hours due to the disruption from non-credible bomb threats. Well, let's go straight to our correspondent, Cordelia Lynch, who joins us from Atlanta, Georgia. And Cordy, we were expecting those first polls, especially Georgia. All eyes are on Georgia at the moment because it's that first battleground state.
Georgia, this is a key area for Kamala Harris to try and make gains with black voters. She also needs to make critical gains in the suburbs. We were expecting the polls to close, but there have been some delays. It follows non-credible bomb threats, 5 in fact, in this county alone earlier. We heard from the FBI that they believe that they are connected to Russia in some way. We've heard from the Secretary of State in Georgia who has said that we will not be intimidated. But just in the last few minutes, we are also hearing some reports from DeKalb County as well that polling stations there have been delayed because of further bomb threats. We're awaiting detail on that. And I can speak now to 2 people at a watch party here desperately awaiting these results, Nikidra and Shanika. Nikidra, what do you make of these reports, of these non-credible, and we don't know about the latest, but bomb threats? How concerned are you by those?
I think it's very concerning, and it's also sad, but I think the one thing that is, I think, going to pull us all together is the fact that we have somebody, Kamala Harris, who I actually voted for, someone who really cares about the people. And it's unfortunate that we're living in these times where they have to threaten our freedom.
All right, listen, I can't believe that they're extending it. And I think that's going to be something that they're going to keep on doing. You know? It is literally one massive joke. Honestly, I just don't get what's going on.
And tell your children about, and we already know who that is.
this was a very contentious state back in 2020. You'll remember Donald Trump famously calling the Secretary of State to find 11,700 more votes that would have plugged the deficit, if you like. It was a state that Joe Biden turned blue after nearly 30 years of being Republican. Do you think there is a chance that any result might in fact just be undermined, not accepted?
So based upon the history of Donald Trump, it wouldn't surprise me that he would try to contest the elections, but...
So Trump's coming in with 214,000 votes. Kamala's got 143,000 votes. Bro, like...
you know, give your
Trump
good
for the
riddance
win, yeah?
and, you know, accept the election results. We're tired. We are tired of all the back and forth with him, his rhetoric. It's just too much. And so in the event that it doesn't go the way that he likes, go back to West Palm Beach or wherever his mansion is and just live there. Like, we are tired of it. So move on. It's time to move on and move forward for that matter.
Shanika, I'm interested what you think about the black male vote. A lot has been said this year about Donald Trump chipping away at Kamala Harris's appeal on that front, that some just don't feel the enthusiasm for her, that they believe that Donald Trump is more capable.
Boring right now. Let's wait a second and see what else there is. Go on to X. Anything, any delays, any stories? Yeah, we know about the delays in Georgia. Okay, so nothing's happening over there. Quickly going to Bitcoin price action. Spiked up, come back down again. Not really getting that much movement, guys. NASDAQ, sideways. You're not going to see it yet. You won't see it. Volatility index, of course, not really doing anything. The bonds market is going to be an interesting one. Bonds are marking, well, were marking up. Not that much of movement just yet. Let's have a look at the yen. Yen's coming back up a little bit. Let's have a look at gold. Is gold? No, gold's not open. Oh, gold is open. Seems to be holding out very well. Bitcoin, still in that same dead range. Typical XRP formation for Bitcoin. God's sake, man, the thing winds me up at the best of times. Oh, come on, man. You're done with these two. Let's have a look at this. Any questions, guys? Yeah, we're not going to have a clue until around 2 o'clock in the morning, man. That's the crazy thing. So 217,000 votes. That is unbelievable. Well, tomorrow, guys, this is where the activity is going to be tomorrow. Okay. Oh, Bitcoin's pulling back. Remember, when there's bids coming into play, let's have a look. Is there any bids? A lot of bids have come in. $5,069,200 there. Got some odd bids coming in here. There's some bids, 10 million at 68,350. You've got to be very careful if you're trying to play longs on Bitcoin. Okay, we're back now. What's she going to be saying again? Let's have a look.
Told that 2 precincts have extended the hours of voting because they're saying they have technical issues in Burke County in the western region and one in Wilson County. You guys ain't going to get no election result, I'm telling you. So 2 precincts there have extended their time for voting as well. No doubt there are going to be technical issues.
Tina, would you wear high heels if Kamala were to...
Yeah, and also news from Pennsylvania that election officials in Pennsylvania with both parties are denying.
A guy's trying to go into U.S. Capitol with a flare gun and a torch. Oh, my days. Listen, if Trump doesn't win, that's going to be happening. Here we go. Poll closes in 15 minutes.
To the allegation. It is yet another example of disinformation. So that's from Philadelphia.
Yeah, I know.
Dominic Waghorn, our international affairs editor, is this evening.
This guy.
So, Dominic, what's going on there in relation to these claims of cheating?
Well, we're hearing from Philadelphia City Commissioners responding fairly quickly and pretty angrily, I think, to what Donald Trump has been putting on Truth Social. That's his social media platform at Mar-a-Lago in Florida, where he said, I think an hour or so ago, he said a lot of talk about massive cheating in capitals in Philadelphia, law enforcement coming. 3 exclamation marks. There has been no talk of massive cheating here in Philadelphia. There may have been a certain amount of talk, scurrilous it seems, within the Trump camp, but there hasn't been any talk of it here. So it took people here by surprise, except for the fact that we've seen this in the past from Donald Trump. And of course, Pennsylvania was the site and the location and the focus of a lot of Donald Trump's claims, scurrilous and false, they turned out, none of them standing up in court, of fraud in the election then, because there was a gap between election night and Saturday, when a result was finally released by Philadelphia and Pennsylvania state officials from the election, saying that Joe Biden had won by a very narrow margin. And in that gap, he was able to cast a lot of doubt on the process that, as I say, was eventually proven wrong and unfounded in the courts. But it did a lot of damage to U.S. democracy. So we have heard from a number of commissioners, 2 of them, a Republican and Democrat, came out of the building here.
247,000 votes.
This is an enormous warehouse.
Trump is ahead 60%, man. He gets to 69%. It's game over. Game over for Harris.
In the past, it's buying up these big facilities, drafting in hundreds of vote counters, and they've been busy all day counting, particularly the mail-in ballots, and now counting in-person ballots. So from this building, we heard, or 2 officials came out, said
the threat of a nuclear war if Harris wins. Oh, God, if that's the case, then...
We had a beautiful day, beautiful election. We're seeing high turnout from reports that I have. It's a beautiful day. And to be clear, Philadelphia elections are safe, simple, and secure, and they have always been. There is no cheating. There's no smoke to it. People say things, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's true. We've learned this in 2020. We have hard-working people trying to give the citizens of America the election that they deserve.
Do you know any specifics of the allegation?
Hold on 1 second.
So as I said in my social media post, there is no truth to the allegation that there is massive cheating in Philadelphia. We have been in touch with the RNC and anybody who has any complaints throughout the day. We've been responsive. Everything has been handled appropriately. So we look forward to the continued voting until 8 p.m. when the polls close. We also have ballots that still need to be counted inside the warehouse.
What is your message to Mr. Trump? How concerning is it that one of the candidates says that you're cheating, put Philadelphia on blast on his Truth Social? What does that say?
Well, here's the reality. I mean, no one's worried, no one's concerned. We have hard-working Philadelphians who work on the election boards, who do the canvass. They're hard-working citizens. And again, that's a tax.
The big show if you went to church on Sundays, as if you just said that, man.
We're not going to be here all the time just addressing whatever's on social media. We have an election that we have to run. So we actually ought to please respect that and let us finish our job.
What do you want to say to
So Seth Bluestein, the Republican official there on the right who spoke there before that,
so
he tweeted this.
What I'm looking for is, I'm looking to see what the volatility is like. I know the electoral votes are the important ones, but I'm just looking to see what the volatility is going to be like once the polls actually close. Now, of course, Georgia is going to be the main one, given that it's been extended, but I want to wait and see what happens once the polls actually close.
Fraud or abuses there, they need to know about it. They've received nothing to that effect. And so they are pushing back a lot faster than they did, I think it's fair to say, 4 years ago about the allegations made. But it's an extraordinary situation, Mark, isn't it, where one of the candidates in this election is, before the counting's even over, saying that there's massive cheating here with absolutely no foundation or substantiation for that claim. And one member from his own party and from...
Do you know what? If Trump doesn't win, but I mean, look, like, let's just consider, okay? Trump has gone up 10,000 votes and Kamala has not even moved that 162,000, okay? And again, we get to 60%. I mean, anything can happen though. Like, look, I'm not going to deny it. Anything can happen, but for God's sake, like, it just doesn't make sense. She's been made a laughing stock. And it would be crazy if she were to run the United States, because that would just, in my opinion, that would be taking that's just taking the mick. It really is. Like, how are you gonna everything that's gone wrong in the United States right now is under that party. So when you had the opportunity to do something about it, you didn't. So we got to wait for you to go in power to do it. Technically, you're already in power, kind of thing.
Of barraging from Trump, alleging fraud, for the then city commissioner to come out, also a Republican, a guy called Al Schmidt, to come out and say, look, there is no fraud. There is no fraud taking place. That was then proved in the court cases. Al Schmidt is now the Secretary of State in Pennsylvania. So he is the top man in charge of elections there. I've been in touch with him over the course of the past few weeks. Clearly, he and his staff have been very concerned about this happening. They have also been very prepared. I think 4 years ago, we were in the middle of COVID as well.
She was installed like a toilet. Oh, my days. Yes.
And as you guys say, we will be following the situation in Pennsylvania very closely. But let's talk now about the economy, because as we've been saying, and all the polls have been showing, it's a big issue in this election. Americans are struggling thanks to inflation and high interest rates, and that could hurt Kamala Harris at the ballot box. She says she will cut taxes for more than 100 million middle-class Americans and provide assistance for first-time home buyers and new parents. Donald Trump has enjoyed a persistent lead in polling on the economy, and Joe Biden and now Kamala Harris. One of the core promises on his campaign website is to end inflation and make America affordable again. Well, let's go straight to our Shingi Maririke, who actually, no, I'm going to show you this exit poll now. And as we said, we are getting some of the exit polls that are coming in. Earlier, you saw that NBC exit poll, which actually put the economy just behind concerns around what the impact on democracy will be because of this election. So in that NBC poll, 31% of people said that they were worried about the economy. But the question here coming from the national exit poll was, who do you trust more on the economy? And 47% of people have said Kamala Harris. 51% have said Donald Trump. Well, let's go now to our Shingi Maririke, who joins us from Arizona. Shingi, we're getting some of these exit polls coming in. No surprises there that more people said that they trusted Donald Trump with the economy than they did with Kamala Harris, because, of course, they do associate the vice president with the Biden administration and its policies.
Yeah, that's right. That poll isn't surprising, just solidifying something that we've seen over the course of this campaign, the fact that Donald Trump scores highly on the economy. And we know that, speaking more broadly, in American elections, the economy is a major issue. You always think about that slogan associated with Bill Clinton's campaign in 1992, it's the economy, stupid. And what we've been discussing with voters here in Arizona is why they think that Trump is the more capable candidate when it comes to the economy. And so much of it is more to do with optics than anything else. They see him as this former businessman who was in office before global conflict, was in office when inflation was lower, when the price of gas, the price of groceries was also lower. They take that context away and they speak more generally about the way Trump presents himself. In fact, I can remember quite vividly a couple of conversations with voters here. One person who said that I'm voting for Trump because my meal in McDonald's, the place I go as I think about having children and think about starting a family, will be cheap. Sounds a bit oversimplified, but that is what they were saying. They said that that's a massive driver when they come out to vote. Other people we've spoken to here at this polling station have also said similar things, ignoring that global context as well. And I think Kamala Harris has put forward policies for helping people who want to buy homes and to more social safety, social security as well. But that's not cutting through, because what you do get with Donald Trump's rhetoric is a kind of sense of bombastic sort of clarity in a lot of ways. So that, as I'm saying here in Arizona, isn't really making a dent. Just speaking a little bit more about what we're seeing behind me as well, you can see that people are still queuing up at this polling station. The queues have been 30 minutes over the course of the day. It's extremely busy. We know that there are 78 different contests on the ballot as well. And one of the central issues they'll be thinking about as they vote is the economy.
Shingi, thank you so much.
Well, in a little over 5 minutes, the first polls will close in this election.
All right, 5 minutes, man.
Hour, we'll move across the country.
Let's see if we're going to get any volatility. Let's have a look at NASDAQ.
Their say.
NASDAQ trying to do some numbers right now. What are these guys doing here? What are we watching here now? Listen, you guys are coming out with the best comments, man. Thank you very much. Mad love to you guys. You're proper bringing the flavor to today's live stream, man. For 5 minutes, the actual polls close, and I'm looking to see if there's going to be any volatility off the back of that. Going into the votes themselves right now, we just kill this for a second. Going into the votes, it's saying we've got 267 for Trump, 270,000 for Trump, 167,000 for Kamala Harris. 4 minutes until the polls close. Georgia will still remain open. Look, man, Sky News, whether it's on good or not, ultimately, we're just getting some flavor right now just to keep us aligned with what to expect going into the results, man. Of course, I won't be able to sit through the whole event, which as much as I would like to, but we're probably going to, I think we'd have a right laugh if we did. You know? 214 million placed on Betfair. On Betfair. Unbelievable. Let's have a look at the price action with Bitcoin for a split second. Let's have a look. Not really doing too much right there. Any questions, guys? I know Sky News is like a red vector. I get all of that, but anything going into X? Let's just quickly have a look. Anything happening on the minute? Harris stages door. Yeah, we know this. Anything else? What we got here? CNN says she's concerned that Kamala Harris may not have enough time to introduce herself to the American people. Okay. No movement over there. Anything going over here? 2 minutes, ladies and gents. Right, this is what I'm looking for. I'm effectively looking to see if we're going to get any volatility, okay, on the NASDAQ. That's what I'm looking for once the polls close. Okay, so NASDAQ is starting to pull back. 30-second time frame right there. Got Bitcoin on the left over here. Just going to get rid of that right there. Okay, so it looks like we're going to get some volatility in a few seconds. 12 a.m. UK time, new 1 hour candle. Keep an eye out on this, guys. Looking at the poll, 600. Oh, wow. We got 1,171 likes and 659 of you have hit the poll. Well done, guys. We've got more on the likes. Oh, check that out. NASDAQ moving. This is what I was waiting for with the polls closing. NASDAQ is moving pretty fast. I ain't even got the depth of market up. Wait there. Problem is, you're going to end up seeing a lot of volatility on this. So I'm going to try and let's just try and see what we can do with that. I'm just trying to, God, come on. Nothing's happening there. Okay, so here is, in principle, here is the depth of market on the NASDAQ right there. NASDAQ in the middle, Bitcoin on the left. Okay, let me see if there is a spread on the NASDAQ. Oh, man. I'm going to try and do it. Keep it light. Here we go. Quick scout. Can we do it? Come on. Keep sinking. Keep sinking. Sink. There's a spread. Don't like that. Sink. Oh, man. It's only one contract anyway. It's not going to hurt my neck. Come on, do the sweep. Sweep lower. There she goes. Come on. Don't like that. Big green vector as well. It's a 30-second time frame. Come down, recover that point. Sweep lower. That's what I'm looking for. I'm not making mad money here, guys. It's just a scalp, just to trade this logic for a second. Just want to see if they're going to do anything. Polls close in 13 seconds. Here we go. Oh, where's my chart? Come on. Come on, NASDAQ. It's a bit choppy. Closed. All right, polls are closed. Let's see how they react now. Come on, NASDAQ, recover that vector. Down you go. Taking forever to do this. All right, so they're not really giving us anything now. Here we go. First polls closing. Donald 8-3 Harris. Logic would say that they would bring prices down, load up bids to then reverse. And that's what I'm trying to trade the logic to right now for the NASDAQ. The depth of market is looking very, very nice. It is looking nice, but it's going to be very chop. Lots of chop. Here we go. Can we make any profit on this little drop? Look, there's spread. Look at the spread. Look at that. There's my entry point. There's such wide spread right now. That is not helping me at all. Yeah, got crazy spread right now. Crazy spread. That's not good for me. I thought they'd get that. I thought they would drop it. I thought they'd make that move. I really thought they would make that move. Come on. So the Asian session's there. They've come into the vector recovery. They've rejected that point. The logic says go down. Try and sweep the Asian session low. There's liquidity down there. What are the votes saying? Here we go. I'm glad I didn't take 2 positions on that. 2 lot sizes. Here we go. Come on, NASDAQ. Do the move. Come on, sweep lower. I'm not trading to make money. I'm just trading the logic of the polls that have just come out now. The closed polls. I'm trading an event in principle. If we can get a nice sweep lower, make a couple $100, then we're all good. If not, then we just walk out. Be very chop. Here we go. 8, Trump, Harris. Okay. Where are we at with that? What's the vote saying? Here we go. What's she got here? Harris, 3 electoral votes. 19, Trump. Okay. Where's my position? Oh, we're down $95. Oh, no. Okay, so it's not really doing it. It's not really doing anything. They've recovered the vector candle now, so come on. This is what I mean when you trade the logic of news. Like, you got to ask yourself, how much time are you spending in a drawdown? I'm not in, like, mad loss or anything. But this is where you test a trade. Testing a logic. How much time am I spending in a loss? Okay, we need to get out of that in a very short moment. She swept the vector recovery right there. Where are we at now? Okay, it's getting very chop. Couple $100 loss. Oh, no, we're going back down again. Come on, NASDAQ. Do the sweep. There she goes. There she goes. No, back in again. Come on. Come on. Very bizarre. Very bizarre. Why aren't you actually taking the sweep lower? Come on, you've been marking up all day. Go down into the imbalance and you're finished. We can walk away. Come on. There she is. Sweep. Eat the liquidity, man. What's the depth doing? Point of control all the way down there. Come on, man. Ah. Oh. What a choppy range. Do it. This is where it gets very... Tokyo has just opened, yes. Spreads, you see that? You see that massive drop there? That spread for you, and that is shocking right now. I shouldn't have opened this trade. I really shouldn't have opened this trade. Massive spread. Look, that's in essence what you're buying at, right? Offers all the way up here. Look at the price difference. That is terrible. Absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. I thought they'd be much tighter than that. I'm not really doing anything. I think NASDAQ is gonna pop. It is gonna pop down. Just need to wait for that move, but they seem to be wicking up and down. The depth is not really giving me anything right now. Bitcoin's doing a little move up. You know what? I mean, I'm gonna take what, $200 loss? I can deal with that. You go, blue vector candle. Daily open up there. They've tested the daily open once. They rejected that point. So I'm going to give this a second to try and recover the blue vector. If it recovers the blue vector and it continues, then we're good. If not, then we're out of the trade. Quite wide spreads. They're pricing in Trump, but I don't trust it. I know NASDAQ marks up to come down. I know what she's doing. At this point in time, that's what I believe to be the case. Come on. Make your move. Very slow. This is one thing I hate about NASDAQ. During the Asian session, she moves so slow. Here she goes. Come on, attack it, man. Just give me that back into VWAP. We're good. That's all we're looking for. Here she goes. Sweep lower. Asian session test. Vector candle. Green vector candle recovery point right there. Bitcoin rejecting the psychological high. Any news right there on nothing's going on right there? Let's just have a look at. He's at 19 so far. Let's have a look at this.
States. And we're being told that Indiana has been called for Donald Trump as well. So we can add that to Donald Trump's column as well.
Projected winner, Trump.
Electoral votes.
Market's got to pull back.
Indiana, strong Republican state. Only Obama back in 2008, I think, has won that. Otherwise, pretty solidly red. And so we've got some results. We can look at a few patterns maybe. And Lewis is at the screen.
Nearly 300,000 votes, man.
Yes, Mark, it's good to be off and running, isn't it? On the board, Trump with 19 electoral college votes, projected Harris with 3. We're starting to colour. Just got 3 of the states in so far, started to colour in the map of the union. We can see Indiana there, the Hoosier state's just been declared for.
These spreads are wild. Come on, NASDAQ, do that sweep. That's all. I'm looking for this range to be swept. That's all I'm looking for. This is an example of a trade, guys. Like, you know, just the logic. See why I'm not closing the trade off. Seeing the green blue vector candle region. I've got the red vector candle block principle coming into play right now. So we're going to assume they're going to try and break that point. And if they do mean flavor to go to the upside, then the idea is that it's going to get triggered inside of this green vector block right here. So they've showed a limitation at the midpoint of that point. So we're going to be assuming that they're going to try and work their way lower. Here she goes. Come on. Look how she's tapped that liquidity there. Go for the sweep, NASDAQ. I know you're going to do it, bro. Come on. What are you doing? Yeah, back into VWAP. Come on, do it. There she goes. Can we make a couple of $100? Come on. Sweep. 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 3, 2, 1. Down. Come on. Bitcoin's done a stop run. Not bad. All right, so they're invalidating this red vector candle block zone right here. Attack it. I might just scratch the trade. Come on. It's too choppy. It could just sweep back up again. Unless we get the sweep lower. Taking forever to do it. Oh, it's gapped up again. Right, here we go. 7 ticks. Can we see the sweep? Just do it. Do it. Do it. There you go. 3, 2, 1. Sweep it. NASDAQ. Just do the drop, man. Do the drop. I can't be asked with that. Forget that. Oh, God. All that. All that for what? I don't even know what we made there. $35. What a joke. Yeah, I won't be doing that again. What an absolute joke. What's this guy saying right now?
A expand upon it as well. Lots of conversation and lots of talk about her being somewhat more frail, somewhat weaker, with black men in particular. When we start to get the sort of results in from places like Fulton County there, with the home of Atlanta itself, places like Cobb County and so on, we will start to be able to piece together and answer that question. That is basically the answer to the question overall, Mark, which has been, can Kamala Harris in this election not only maintain the Joe Biden coalition from 2020, but actually potentially also enhance and create and augment a coalition of her own as well? We've talked so much, haven't we, in the past about whether Donald Trump's coalition has been underestimated in the polls. Most of the polls...
For me, it's not making the money. For me, it was just trading that instance with the polls closing and the first instance of news coming out. And then look, now Donald Trump's 19 ahead with Harris at 3. And you can just see that the way NASDAQ's behaved. Look, it's gone down. It's doing what I wanted it to do, but it's just, I just cannot stand the Asian session with the NASDAQ. And this is what's really important that you want to pay attention to. Just look at the spread, okay? This is the problem trading the Asian session. Look at where the offer is, that red area there, and look at where the bid is. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. Yeah, it's such a wide range. It's a horrible range. And she's done pretty much what we wanted her to do. You know, we really wanted that, and I should have held on to it. Could have made $100. Happy days. But the logic of the blocks coming in, see how they're breaking that red vector candle block? Down she goes. Should have held on to the trade. Never mind, we move on. And it's just taken a shoe bag to the downside. There she is. What a pain in the... Look at that. That would have been a splendiferous short, man. That would have been a nice short. We did good today already anyway. We're all right. I'm not going to let that bother me at all. But you see the logic of the block, okay? They're rejecting that range. Red vector candle. They don't want to go higher. They want to go lower. There's your block. There's your sweep of the range to the downside. I made $35. I'm now going to go to a 24-hour shop and spend $35. And that just winds me up. I should have just kept on to the trade. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen. Well, looking at the way things are going right now, okay? Paper hands, you know. It's a live account, my bro. It's a live account. Talking about. Look at that. It's not the money. It's not the money. It's the read. The read. We were right on the flipping read, man. But that satisfies me because you see it happening in real time and what we wanted to see them do. Look at Bitcoin. Look at NASDAQ, you know? Both on the same time, well, 5-minute chart, NASDAQ's going down. So this is where it is. All right, and cool. And you know what? I'm gonna go. This is where you could long in principle. You could take a scalp quick. No, we're not doing anything like that, ladies and gentlemen. Bitcoin price action right now, where we at? Nothing on that class right there. Let's have a look at the votes just for a split second. Where we at with it all? All right, Trump. Whoa. Okay. Here we go. 2,974,617 votes. Look at that. Now it's gone to 53.45. 19 electoral votes, 3 electoral votes. Harris. Okay, so, oh my days. That is absolutely crazy. Okay, then. Cool. Nah, I'm not taking no trade. I'm exhausted, man. I've done my trading for today, man. I'm satisfied with what I've done. We've done 10 grand today. For anybody new, this is a live account up here. Live account. We started with 5K this week, and we're at 21,000 right now. Today's trading was $4,801 on that CFD account. And then we did 5,145 on our futures account, live account, personal account. Started with 5K and now we're at 10.5. Okay. And add another $35 to that. We're just shy of the 10K mark. So it's overall been a decent day today. But I hope you understood that logic right now with the NASDAQ. Okay. On the principle of the block. See what I mean about NASDAQ? It comes down, it comes straight back up. The treachery of it all. Be careful when you trade it. But she fundamentally did that move. Okay, so happy days with that bad boy right there. Now, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, obviously I can't go through it all with the election itself, but I do want to thank you all for your time tonight. You've all joined me, 2,500 nearly people coming into this live stream. Mad love and respect for that. If you are new, get subscribing because we have the FOMC on Thursday. You don't want to miss out on that bad boy. And you want to learn more about the hybrid system, get over to tradersreality.com and where you go and see all the information about how to use this system. All right. Other than that, gang, mad love and respect. I hope the best man may win or woman. Remember what I said about these shoes, man. I'm going to wear them if Trump loses. With that being said, mad love and respect. Have a good night, guys, and thank you again. Peace. Stop blinking, man. I'm out.